welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Tiff Stevenson and Josh Widdicombe, Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Tiff, which category would you like?
I'll go for home news. OK,
your category is home news. The answer is 339 miles. What is the question?
Is it how far the Proclaimers got before they went, nah, she's not worth it?
If Scotland votes yes to independence, how high should they build the new Hadrian's Wall?
Is it what distance from a roundabout is too soon to slow down?
Is it what distance is the nearest that the HS2 route goes to David Cameron's house?
Is it if you turn on Grindr in Russia, where is your closest match?
What's the distance between Bjork and reality?
Is it how long can a lorry driver go without needing a shit? That's an average. That's an average. That's not just a start.
He's not like a microwave oven. Doesn't go ding.
Is it how far you have to walk to complete a full circuit of IKEA?
Is it if you travel 340 miles by megabus, for how long are you regretting that decision?
Hey, I run a very good bus company. I won't hear a word about it.
Is it how much closer has the Islamic Caliphate got in the last 5 minutes? That was satirical. It simply didn't work.
Because the reason it didn't work is because you're sitting next to somebody who looks so much like he could be a Muslim. People are nervous.
You're not sure.
I should have laughed, then you guys would have been all right.
Is the answer, how far did the Tour de France go through Britain this week?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Josh. Really good. Very well. Yes. The question I was looking for was, what's the total distance of the 3 British stages of this year's Tour de France, which began in Yorkshire at the weekend? Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah. I enjoyed it coming through London. I thought that was to show British cycling its best, they should probably have, when they got to central London, had to get a Boris bike.
It's a bit strange, isn't it, that they've now gone to France. So the 4th stage is in France, and they've gone to France, and they've gone by train or ferry. When the obvious answer is send them across the Channel on a pedalo.
It's exciting, because it was in Yorkshire, but it still wasn't very Yorkshire. There was part of me that was hoping on the final descent they'd be overtaken by the guy from Last of the Summer Wine in a bath.
I was playing the Hovis music.
Yeah. He's a very happy Yorkshire, wasn't it? I mean, that's something a lot of people's traditional view of Yorkshire, you know, that they would have all sat and watched it go past and then gone, yeah.
A nice clash of cultures, though, isn't it? I like the idea of Yorkshire people with French people, and we're hoping for, like, a big romance to bloom, where I've got a Yorkshire woman chatting up a French cyclist. Hey up, love, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? That would be amazing. Pet.
Basically, wasn't it? It was York down to Sheffield, then it was bus to Cambridge, then cycle to London. A very familiar journey if you've ever tried to catch a train on a Sunday.
What I like about it is they've sort of given French names to stuff, but then you still have, like, Yorkshire bits in. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got, like, the Buttertubs Pass has become Côte de Buttertubs. Like, it's quality. It's like when you hear, like, when I hear my family sort of speaking in their mother tongue, you sort of... We talk, and then you have to throw in an English word, like, "En la madre, pretty much, nalla, nalla, nakavanga, King's Cross St Pancras."
You think they did change all the names into French to get publicity, so all the pubs changed names, didn't they? All the pubs throughout Yorkshire changed that, and you just into French. And you think, how cross was the manager of Pret a Manger in Harrogate?
Did you see one of the pubs that changed its name was called the Yew Tree? Now, I think they should consider a name change anyway in that pub.
I mean, it's been a huge topic, but I wouldn't have teamed a pub around it. I mean, Planet Hollywood was an unpleasant visit at the best of times with the yew tree. Is it genuine? What family fun at the yew tree? I don't think so.
I just like the fact that you got to see somebody on a bike with a drug problem who hadn't just stolen my mobile phone.
Watching the BBC coverage on that first day, though, they described... They said, oh, there's 2.5 million people out in Yorkshire, and they described in many areas that the crowds were dense. Now, I thought that was unnecessary and somewhat regionalist myself.
When I watched the coverage of it coming into London, and although, you know, it stopped being in Yorkshire, but the commentator was incredibly Yorkshire. Because he went, when they were commentating and looking at the different places in London they could see, and the bloke went, "There's the Shard. The Shard was finished just in time for the Olympic Games. You can go right to the top of the Shard. It's very expensive in my..."
If you're an avid fan of the Tour de France, as I am, as they go on, there's always a helicopter shot to break up just the shots of the cyclists of whatever local chateaus there are, like whatever, which they sort of did a version of. But there's one shot of Trafalgar Square, and the camera of the helicopter slowly rotating around Nelson's column, and you're going, I would like to hear the French commentary. Nobody knows who this man is. Yes, what, by the way, endangered the safety of riders during the stages?
This was people taking selfies, and they basically, obviously, they sort of would have their back to the peloton, and so they couldn't actually see them coming. And you think it's just a new form of natural selection, basically, isn't it? Well, wasn't there a lad who got a selfie with the Queen?
Yes, and the Queen visited Belfast a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, and it was relatively... He did it really smoothly. I mean, you'd hardly spot it happening. Here's a picture of it here. That's amazing. The picture you want is what that guy behind him is about to do now.
Belfast isn't the place to suddenly jump out at a member of the Royals, though, is it? That's a very brave move.
Other news. What medical problem has David Cameron warned the world about this week?
Posh twat syndrome.
This is superbugs that are resistant to the current crop of antibiotics, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Resistant in a proper medical sense, rather than resistant to kind of I'm not fond of it.
Apparently the reason bacteria have got so much worse is that all the good bacteria have been put into yoghurt.
So he said it's going to send medicine back to the Dark Ages.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not going to go to the doctor. If I turn up with athlete's foot and end up getting burnt as a witch, I'm not getting involved.
I mean, it'd be your only choice. I mean, the guy who farms leeches is going, well.
I knew you'd come back.
You've all come crawling back now, haven't you, with your infections and whatnot?
He has had probably quite a bad few years, the guy that farms leeches, darling.
It's been a rough 300 years or so since the madness of George the Parrot. That, you know, but since, you know, he's still waiting with his... just stroking the leeches. Oh, yes. They shall come back to us. No, I do not let the leech sit on my arm. The leech is stuck to my arm. I cannot get the leech off my arm.
The thing that worries me about going back to the Dark Ages is, if you go back to the Middle Ages with medicine, the thing that really worries me is keyhole surgery. Have you seen the size of a medieval keyhole?
The thing is, I think everybody's known this, haven't they? Like that doctors prescribe antibiotics like too much. Like every time you go to the doctor, like I feel fluey, antibiotics. My leg hurts. My leg hurts, antibiotics. I think that I'm developing a bacteria that's resistant to antibiotics.
I tell you what, if I'd done that impression, it would have got a lot different reaction.
It would have been fine, because it would have gone...
You have the power of life or death, whether you do that.
And I could end any of you.
There was. You're right, though, I'm not now sucking up to you. He's right, this is not a new thing. The timing of Cameron getting on board does feel a bit like he did I've got a press conference and all hands shoot up and goes, what about Coulson? What about Coulson? What about Coulson? And Cameron went, Coulson? People are dying.
He brought it up, didn't he? He said he brought up antibiotic-resistant superbugs at the last G7 meeting, and apparently Vladimir Putin was very interested in buying some. So...
how has the scientist in America been putting the world at risk?
Oh, now, he's kind of mutated a strain of bird flu, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yes.
To make it... it's transmissible now between bird and human. It's a thing we've tried to avoid.
No, it's not. It's not transmissible between bird and human. It's transmissible between duck and ferret.
That's a pub in Yorkshire.
It is, yeah.
I'm concerned this man has never seen a zombie film, because this is how they all start.
They all begin with this. They all begin with this, yeah.
Didn't they compare it to a film, though? There's Contagion.
Actually, it was in one of the papers, and an example, they give two historical examples of a viral infection. There was Spanish flu, which killed 57 million, and the film Contagion, in which 26 million people died. And you're going, no, the film Contagion, nobody actually died. That didn't happen. That was all fictional. You might as well say it uses a laser similar to the one used in the Death Star, which blew up the planet all day.
If they wanted to compare it to a film that brought suffering to millions, they should have compared it to that one about Princess Monaco of Kent. No, is that her name? Princess Monaco. I don't know her fucking name. I just know it was a terrible film.
Princess Grace
I'm never talking
of
again.
Monaco.
Princess
Monaco of Kent.
Yes.
Your wife works in medicine, doesn't she?
Does,
She's a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you reckon this is true? Do you reckon you can tell what someone's going to be like in bed depending on which area of medicine they work in, right? Because you've got, like, the paramedics. This could end badly. You've got the paramedics, they like a quick in and out, and then you've got the GPs, they cover a lot of the body, but they don't know what they're doing. And then you've got the surgeons who like to go and have a rummage around and then leave something behind that shouldn't be there.
Often, if you sleep with a GP and you go, well, is there any chance we could do something special? And said, no, I will have to refer you to a consultant for that. At the end of that round, the points go to Romish, you and Gary. Now we play a round called Tour de France. This game involves Tiff and Gary, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is dating.
OK, I'll take that.
OK, Tiff.
I'm pretty glad I'm not single anymore, because I'm 36, so I'm at that age where I've had to start saying to guys, seriously, do you mind not talking to my face? They're right here. Actually, more like here now. I'm not saying guys don't approach me anymore in bars, they do, but it is to get around me. I had a guy come up to me recently in a nightclub and he went, excuse me, and I went, yes. And he went, no, just excuse me. So I don't really understand, though, the whole objectification of women, like, until I missed it, right? But I don't think I've missed sexism, but that's what getting older does. Because I was always confused by hearing guys talk about women in bars, you know, and objectifying them, going, are you a boobs guy or are you a bum guy? Are you a boobs guy or are you a bum guy? And as a woman, that's really offensive, right? Because women, we don't sit around going, are you a balls girl? Are you a penis girl? Are you a balls girl or are you a penis girl? And I'll tell you why that is. That is because no woman in the history of the world has ever said, do you know what? I'm just a balls girl, me. Just really love a pair of balls. I just love a pair of balls. I like how they're dry and clammy at the same time. Wrinkly but weirdly smooth. Red and brown. I like moving them around in my hand like they're Chinese meditation balls.
OK, that leaves us with Gary. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is health.
The doctor told me to lose some weight I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that kind of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. I was thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments during the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. Chair of Dyslexic Society was recently given an OBE. He said, what's the point? I can't play the bloody thing. I live next door to a family of anorexic agoraphobics. Yeah, but they've got a few skeletons in the closet. A friend of mine's been suffering from paranoid delusions and now he thinks he's a chocolate orange. I worry he's going to be sectioned. Poor Terry. I thought PPI was just something you could get if you didn't wear goggles at the swimming baths. I bought an alcoholic ginger beer. He wasn't pleased. I once met a girl who confused a tube of KY jelly with super glue. I asked how it happened, but sadly her lips were sealed. Thank you.
Very good. Well done to both of you. Point there for Tiffany Seymourton. Come back to Dan. Good work. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
Is this when they got the news Cliff Richard had been caught in traffic?
Are they, in fact, watching Prince Philip trying to talk to the Williams sisters?
Is it news in from the palace, the Queen is dead?
What, to get their news from... Oh, God, I hadn't heard that story appear during the week. You think it would have got more coverage than a passing reference on Mock the Week.
Have they just seen themselves on the giant screen?
Have Kate and Wills hired private detectives to spy on each other?
Have they just found out that the royal premiere of Mrs Brown's Boys has been cancelled?
I think I know what it is. They have just witnessed Princess Monaco of Kent.
Finally she's returned.
It's a new thing where they do, like, public executions of illegal immigrants.
Do you laugh?
I mean,
do you
come on,
laugh,
guys.
Ron?
Oh, sorry. I found that good. That was OK.
Hey, you know what it actually is?
I think they're at Wimbledon, aren't they?
Yes, they are at Wimbledon. Thank you very, very much. Hugh. Yes, of course. This is a picture of Prince William and Kate Middleton cheering on Roger Federer before he was defeated by Novak Djokovic in the men's Wimbledon final. 7-time champion Federer lost in 5 sets to Djokovic in a gripping match that lasted nearly 4 hours.
He won, he ate the grass, or, as some people were saying, he lost his balance and hit the court with his teeth. That was...
He said the grass was the best meal he'd ever had. Which, I mean, I've not tried Serbian food, but it must be. Also, if he ever wins on clay, it's going to be an absolute horror show, isn't it?
Is that what they mean when they say a tennis player's seeded?
He looks like he's getting ready to get seeded right now.
It's pretty dangerous. With Boris Becker there and the crowd shouting, Roger, Roger, it's kind of dangerous. He's going to take that as an instruction and start looking for a waitress, isn't it?
He's scary looking now, isn't he, Becker? He looks like he's having a permanent allergic reaction to a bee sting. He's being sort of like a boiled ham in a wig. He's...
It was lucky they finished when they did, because, I mean, the smell of burning in the players' box. People going, we've got to get Boris out of the sunshine, either that or brush him with a bit of egg. We've got to do something.
I like how after he won, he dedicated the prize to his future wife and future baby, and all the audience went, "Oh, that's so sweet," apart from his current wife and current baby.
It was obviously sad that Murray got knocked out in the quarter-final. He was effing and blinding, wasn't he? You know, 5 minutes before the bloody game, and people saying they were shocked by him. But let's face it, a Scotsman walking around talking to themselves, shouting expletives to nobody in particular, it's not really that much of a shock, is it?
With Murray, there's always that thing. There's always that sort of age-old joke where when he's winning he's British and when he's losing he's Scottish. And this time he got battered, and you can't get more Scottish than that.
That'll be.
Sorry if you're watching.
That'll be. Andy Murray, big fan of the show. OK. What was special with the women's final this year?
It was short.
It was quite
Weird,
brief.
isn't it? Because it's normally the men that are quicker. Hello! Hello! That just happened.
There was Eugenie Bouchard.
Eugenie Bouchard.
Yeah, she made it into the final, and she's named after the royal family, her and her twin sister Beatrice,
Yes,
which is why now she spends her entire life flying around the world, earning large amounts of money for just doing a few hours' work each week.
It has to be actual members of the royal family, though, which is why she doesn't have a brother called Harry.
Yeah. Or an auntie called Monaco of Kent.
Is this episode going to end up with all of us hung for treason?
or me carried through the streets of Dublin. In other news, what did French police recently lose at Marseille airport?
A giant Toblerone.
This is fantastic. They did. They were doing a security test, weren't they, where they got sniffer dogs to find explosives, Semtex, that they had hidden, and the dogs couldn't find the explosives, and then the policeman who'd hidden the explosives couldn't remember where they'd hidden them.
If a sniffer dog can't sniff out the bomb, then that's just a dog.
I think probably.
That is a tough thing to turn into a dog and like take the badge off a dog. You're just demoted to a dog. You're off
This explosive they lost, I gather it was called C4.
C4, yeah.
Which presumably means they got another chance to find it again an hour later on C4+1.
I suspect the problem, honestly, with the sniffer dog was that it had been sniffing drugs all afternoon, couldn't remember what explosives smelt like. You know?
I'm supposed to be looking for some C4, man, but I am off my tits, bruv, I tell ya. This has been the best day ever.
Do you want a screenplay? Yeah, it's about a dog. It's about a dog who's a sniffer dog and has lots of adventures. Oh, it's really good. I worked on it for a long time, actually. It's like amazing. We should do this more. We should do this more. This is great. Apparently, that's what it's like. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Josh, Tiff and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at the dentist.
I think you may have to wear braces. It's just that you're very fat and your trousers keep falling down.
I'm just a bit surprised, at all. When I said spit it out, I wasn't expecting you to say you were shagging my wife.
Hello, is that Mr. Chang? We need to change your appointment. No, we can do 2:15 or 2:45.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke, the dentist. I'm afraid it's worse than bad breath. You've got supercalifragilisticextreme-halitosis.
I wouldn't say that your root canal is in a bad way, but I've just found a shopping trolley in it.
Do you want a lollipop for being such a brave boy? Of course you do. That's why your teeth look like cheesy Wotsits, you little prick.
And now, if you inhale the gas and try and guess what I had for breakfast.
Yep, you're right. They are false. Had a good feel while she was unconscious.
No, don't worry. That's not the sound of the drill. It's just that my receptionist's a Scouser.
Your dental hygienist will see you soon. She's just going for a shit.
Upper right 6, lower left 7. Sorry, I'll be with you as soon as I finish this game of battleships.
Can I think of a celebrity whose veneers I'd like to copy? Probably Princess Monaco of Kent.
Why do I want a crown? Well, I'm Princess Monaco of Kent.
This is most unusual, madam. You don't seem to have any teeth at all. What's that? You here for a smear test? That's next door.
OK, the next topic is... The next topic is... unlikely lines from a children's book.
And Sleeping Beauty slept for 100 nights. In fairness, it had been a massive bender.
Ah, Black Beauty, she said. I'm glad I bought you rather than the rampant rabbit.
The dragon looked at him scarily. Little Hobbit stepped up to him and said, "Hello, I'm Josh Widdicombe."
I'm not doing the laugh. I'm not doing the laugh.
What big eyes you have, Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood. Yes, said Grandma. I'm off my tits on methamphetamine.
You do not like green eggs and ham? Well, tough. This is a Weatherspoons.
Mr. Toad, Ratty and Badger all went on an adventure in the motor car. Then Mr. Toad accidentally said something racist on camera and was on his final warning from the BBC.
I bet you wish you were like me. I fall over all the time and I never hurt myself, said Mr. Bounce. Oh, fuck off, said Mark Cavendish.
And behind the jumpers and the coats at the back of the wardrobe, there he was, Julian Assange.
I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow you for £5.
Well, what should we call our baby, said Mr. Dizzy. Ooh, let's think, said Miss Rascal.
Spot wondered why he'd been placed into the sack with the brick. But either way, this was going to be the best trip to the canal ever.
The Fat Controller went on a business strategy course. And from then on, he wanted to be known as the horizontally gifted Chief Operations Manager.
Well, Cinderella, she said, I'm your fairy princess, Princess Monaco of Kent.
Charlie couldn't believe he was being allowed into the chocolate factory. His girlfriend had been dead against it for years.
It was maybe because Mr. Tickle could reach around doorways and through windows that he came to the attention of Operation U-Tree.
And then you just have to try and pay your mortgage off before you die. Good night, son.
At the end of that round, the points go to Robert, Hugh and Gary. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Tiff Stevenson and Josh Widdicombe. Commiserations to Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night. Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Angela Barnes and Josh Widdicombe, Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Miles Jupp. We start with a game called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, everybody, what's going on here?
Is it the new series of Wife Swap?
Is this what Life of Pi looked like before they added the CGI?
Yeah. Is this a gay couple showing Merkel and Cameron that did actually cause the flooding?
I think it's more likely to be saying, so we're agreed, 3 more days, then we eat Angela.
Is it simply dogging for posh people?
Row over to that one there. You're doing an excellent job. Keep it going. Very good. We'll just tie up here.
Well, you can't see his Farage on the shore side with his binoculars. Just go there. It's a boatload of immigrants.
I don't think they're trying to get into Britain.
Are they saying, so the rule is, if she sinks, she's a witch?
Is she saying, David, this is neither the time nor the place to bring up the D-Day landings?
Is it Dara Breen livid with the new cast for 3 Men in a Boat? Just you.
To be honest, you know, lose a couple of pounds. That could be the guy there with his back to you.
A couple of pounds?
All right. Yeah. So then you know what it actually is.
I think this is the European leaders out on a boat trip discussing this guy Jean-Claude Juncker's appointment as the President of the European Commission.
Yeah, we'll give you that. Well done. Thank you very much. Here, Yes, this is a picture of David Cameron lobbying European leaders to block the appointment of former Luxembourg PM Jean-Claude Juncker as the new President of the European Commission. Cameron continued his offensive this week, demanding an unprecedented vote on Juncker's nomination.
The reason that we don't want him to be President is because he's a federalist, which are people who like Roger Federer.
And their time has passed.
Yeah, their time is over.
We're not interested, we're not engaged. I think they should combine the election of the leader of the European Commission with the Eurovision Song Contest. So,
How is combining 2 things that we're not interested in going to make it more interesting?
I think this guy would make a terrific president of the EC. Or a bad one.
It's really difficult to make this both an interesting story and an interesting opening round. Hey, everybody, finally the chance to do all those jokes you've wanted to hear about the 19-year president of Luxembourg, Jean-Claude Juncker.
say wanker. We're all
Doesn't Cameron need a candidate to replace him, to say that Europe does love, like Mr. Bean or David Hasselhoff? Or...
Yes. Or Conchita Wurst.
Yeah.
So he's a federalist and he comes from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And we have nothing in common with Luxembourg, except possibly in the future, our FIFA ranking.
Cameron is basically trying to be tough against UKIP, isn't he? He's going to try and show everybody that he's really tough. And because what happened, he made a mistake. He called UKIP, he said all their supporters were fruitcakes, loonies and closet racists. And then loads of people actually went out after he'd said that and voted for UKIP. It was like he had described a large part of the British electorate. There is a party for me!
Finally.
Brilliant!
Don't you think it's ridiculous, though? I mean, the reason UKIP did very well in the European election is because everybody's worried about immigration. And it's kind of... What I don't understand about that is why they think immigrants want to come here. It's like the immigrants have looked on TripAdvisor for Britain and gone, oh, yes, no, this looks good. Yes, it's cold, it's wet, they're shit at football, let's go there.
That was an incredible generic immigrant accent.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Tiny bit of Nigeria, tiny bit of the Indian subcontinent. It was amazing how you got them all.
Detected a little Susan of Sri Lanka.
And a tiny little bit of meerkat.
In other news, what has David Cameron claimed he can't get on holiday?
Oh, this is the idea that he can't actually get mobile phone reception when he's on holiday in Cornwall. Said that he couldn't actually hear President Obama on the phone once. And you're thinking, surely that's just Obama, isn't it? Going, oh, I can't be asked to speak to Cameron. I'm losing you, David! I'm losing you! Bye!
It's a very kind of terrifying situation that World War III could break out, but David Cameron would not know and be at the Penzance Otter Sanctuary. Yeah, shall we invade Iran, David? Sorry, I'm at Trago Mills doing my shopping.
Yes. Good West Country knowledge. That's excellent West Country knowledge.
Have you been to Trago Mills?
I've never been to Trago Mills.
What is it, please?
It is a shop.
Thank you.
It's a shop halfway down the A38 that sells cheap carpets and sports equipment, and it's also made to look like a mock Tudor castle, and it has peacocks roaming the grounds.
Trago Mills sounds like a bad guy from a Bond movie. Yeah. You have crossed me once too often, but you will rue the day you crossed Trago Mills.
I have cheap carpets and conservatory furniture.
I know that the point of this story is to sort of strong-arm mobile phone companies into sharing maths, some sort of technical element to it. But it is paid a slightly ridiculous situation that if I walk 10 feet, I'm suddenly out. On all those times that Obama's ringing me, that I've got to return home, and like the local shopkeeper goes, "Oh, you had a phone call, low phone." Some Obama bloke rang. He said it was very sunny in Iraq.
It shows you the different level of technology between the two countries. Obama's got Air Force One and the Beast, and Cameron has got a Samsung Galaxy.
I mean, do you think he got to the point where, like, you know, Nick Clegg finally thinks he's stepping up to the plate? Like, Cameron's on the phone. Listen, my phone reception is a nightmare. We've got an important situation. Nick, I need you to step up. I need you to do the right thing. Can you get in touch with Vodafone and get this sorted out?
Just call him on the landline.
Yeah. That does seem... You seem to have cut through the many levels of the story quite easily.
I wonder if he's on holiday with his family, it might be that he doesn't want to give Obama the landline number in case his mum answers. Like, oh, Mum, it's so embarrassing. He's supposed to talk to me, not you.
The honest truth is, Obama doesn't call him.
Why does he want to take work calls when he's on holiday anyway? He's on holiday, for heaven's sake. Obama shouldn't be ringing him when he's on holiday. He should be more bloody respectful. And secondly, we don't want him to be answering work calls. When he's on holiday, he needs to relax and get himself into the right sort of state of mind for running the country. You don't want him to be sort of making important phone calls about policy at the same time as he's trying to prevent his children squeezing sun cream into the car radio or something.
It does look like the most boring... I mean, I've been on some bad holidays. Never have gone, oh, what did we get up to? Sat with our back to the beach and enjoyed a bottle of water.
It's actually a very exciting game they play where they just sit there for hours and see which one tries to rehydrate themselves first.
It would be magical. In other news, what has the government promised motorists this week?
They've said that if your ticket machine is broken, then you can just park there. Which is basically going to lead to people getting to the ticket machine, seeing they've got no change, getting the baseball bat out the back of their car.
I've got no change, but I do have a baseball bat.
What sort of impulse purchase is that? No, just a bar of chocolate, please. Hello, are they baseball bats you have here?
I do think it is a weird strategy, because what you're saying is we're going to make it OK for you to park by a broken meter. So, you know, a solution seems to be fix the meters. Do you know what I mean? Rather than make it OK to park next to broken ones. It's like saying, well, you know, all the trains are late and we know they never arrive, you know, when they're supposed to. So what we've decided to do to tackle the problem, we've decided to abandon the concept of time. So nobody's ever going to be late for anything.
Are you late, or are you not late, or are you simply never? Has it not arrived to you?
At the information desk. And people go, I'm not sure you'll be able to help me. Oh, will I not be able to help you? I'm blowing your mind.
Why has Pickles done this now? I reckon all that's happened is recently Eric Pickles got a parking ticket when he was only 10 minutes late, and he's thought, oh, I could do something about this.
I'll tell you what he looks like there. He looks like Trago Mills.
You crossed me for the last time, Mr. Bond.
His hat, rather weirdly, has got the face of an owl, if you look at it.
By the way, an interesting related note, what did Labour promise for everyone this week on Twitter?
Oh,
Owls. Genuinely owls. The Labour Twitter feed, they claim, got hacked with the words, everybody should have his own owl. This is sinister. This is Trago Mills.
He's infiltrated both political parties at the same time.
Well, I don't know. I think it's giving birds of prey away. I think it's a quick fix, but it's not a long-term solution.
I'm just very sad. I live on my own. I was looking forward to getting an owl to talk to. All I've got is my Henry Hoover.
If you lived at home with an owl and said, oh, just you and me now, owl, and then the owl just slowly turned its head away. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Josh, Angela and Andy! Now we play a round called Mock Them Up and Throw Away the Key. This game involves Romesh, Angela and Josh, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's our stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is food. Who wants to come in on that? Josh.
I'm not a fan of people that are pretentious about food, the kind of people that pretend they like dark chocolate. And by that, I mean anyone that claims to like dark chocolate, because no one actually likes dark chocolate. No one's eating normal, nice milk chocolate going, well, this is good, but I wish it tasted a bit more like paracetamol. All this pretentious. I went into a cafe for breakfast the other day. One of the things they sold on the menu, toasted bread. That is called toast. What are my other options? Flaked corn topped with the juice of a milked cow? Maybe I don't know what people want from food. I was walking along the street the other day. A van went past. On it said, Waitrose, do you like your bananas green? And I thought, no. No, I'm not a huge fan of diarrhoea, no. I don't like my bananas green for the same reason I don't like my chicken Kiev's dangerously underdone. But now you go into Waitrose, all they have got is green bananas. You go, am I the only person that's ever bought a banana because they want to eat the banana? Someone else go, oh, I think I'll fancy a banana in about 7 days. Better go out and buy one now. Can you come out tonight, Steve? No, I've checked my diary, I'm eating a banana. And all they do is sell them in bunches, so basically what I've got is no bananas for 7 days, followed instantly by far too many bananas all at the same time.
Well done, Josh. OK, let's have the next topic. The subject is health. Who wants to come in on that? Angela.
Yeah, I am quite a sickly person. My own mother once said, Jesus, Angela, if you're a dog, they put you down. That's... I've got something called glue ear. Well, I don't know if you know what glue ear is. It necessitates the wearing of grommets in your ears, right? Now, I don't know. Some people have grommets when they were a child. Child is the key word there. I'm 37, I've got grommets. I might as well have sodding nappy rash. Even the word grommet is a cartoon character. You know, you don't get that with adult procedures, do you? My grandmother, she's had a bilateral hip replacement. She hasn't had a double SpongeBob. Grommets. Right, and they're inconvenient as well. They're inconvenient because I love swimming, right, but I can't get my ears wet, so I have to wear a swimming hat. My mum bought me a red one because she said it would just look like your hair. It doesn't, no, I look like a Lego version of me. And that's not not even the worst of it. Right? That's the worst of it. Twice a year, I have to attend something that's called the Glue Ear Clinic, which takes place at my local children's hospital. You have not known humiliation until you've been a 37-year-old woman sitting on a plastic toadstool, thinking for old Mr. Men comics, waiting for a nurse wearing a Peppa Pig apron to call your name, or 10 sets of parents stare at you, wondering where the hell your child is. On the upside, though, I do have the world's largest collection of Brave Girl stickers, so it's not all bad. One of the side effects of having glue ear is my eardrums burst quite frequently, right? And that's not pleasant. It's pussy, it's messy, it's oozy, it's bloody. It's horrible. It's not very nice. It happens to me all the time. Happened to me once during sex. I know, disgusting. Although it was quite entertaining to see the look on the gentleman in question's face as I saw him think to himself, oh, my God, I've actually shagged her brains out.
OK, that leaves us with Romesh. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is animals.
I'm into animal rights, actually. I recently watched this film, Blackfish, which is about this killer whale that ate 2 of the trainers at SeaWorld, killed 2 of the members of staff at SeaWorld. And it's an interesting film, but I do have some issues with it. You know, one of the things they say in the film is we call them orcas. Some people call them killer whales, but these are beautiful, beautiful orcas. We call them orcas. This one killed 2 people. Right? That's a killer whale, right? He lost the right to be called orca when he slaughtered 2 people, yeah? And people are surprised by what happened. People are surprised by what happened. They say, oh, my God, I can't believe what's happened at SeaWorld. I can't believe that one of the killer whales tried to eat one of the trainers. Listen, that's not a surprise. I'm a vegan, right? If you make me dance with a sausage on my nose for long enough, eventually I will try the bloody sausage, right? I don't think that's a surprise. And the film is presenting obvious stuff. I was talking to an intelligent person about Blackfish. He said to me, I can't believe what's going on at SeaWorld. It's disgusting. I can't believe they kidnapped them from the wild. How else did you think that they got them? Did you think there was some sort of recruitment drive? And the thing is, you know, is they want to set this whale free. They want to set Tilikum free because he killed 2 people. Because he killed 2 people, they want to set him free. I mean, that's the opposite of crime and punishment, isn't it? I mean, people say because he lives in such horrible conditions. Listen, people live in horrible conditions. We don't let them off for doing stuff. You don't say, oh, Derek here killed 6 people. We can't do anything about it because he lives in Hastings.
Thank you very much, Robert. I'm going to give the point to Angela Barnes there. Everyone come on. Thank you very much. The next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Angela, which category would you like?
I'd like home news, please, Dara.
Home news. Ah, blessed break from sport. The answer is 56 years. What is the question?
Is it how long does it currently take to get a UK passport?
Is it what the minimum prison sentence should be for anybody that takes their shirt off in the summer? I find it unacceptable. I remember, like, when it used to be hot days, my dad would open up the curtains first thing in the morning and say, the white people are going to get naked today.
Is it how much did David Moyes age in his 6 months at Old Trafford?
How long would most blokes happily sleep in the same sheets for?
What does a 2-minute match summary by Phil Neville feel like?
Is it how long has Prince Charles been thinking, oh, any day now?
Is it how long could I hold a poo in if I shared a flat with Oscar Pistorius?
I tell you what, that is the Flatshare sitcom I want to see.
How long would it take to collect sufficient owls for Labour to honour their manifesto commitments?
Is it how long since England were last eliminated in the first round of the World Cup?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Josh Widdicombe. Very good. Yes, the answer I was looking for was, how long is it since England last failed to progress beyond the group stage of a World Cup? Were you surprised? Were you gutted?
No, I mean, we didn't lose all our games, did we? I mean, I thought we managed a very creditable 0-0 draw with the 2,500 to 1 outsiders. So, you know, people said we had low expectations, didn't we? And then we all got disappointed when we were knocked out after 2 games. So, obviously, our expectations weren't quite low enough, were they?
What was it? It's the players as well. They didn't... Wayne Rooney said that if we'd won, we'd have gone through, and that's the main lesson to learn. and you're going, if that's the main lesson to learn, we really need to go back to basics.
Well, they were Liverpool, though, and Liverpool had 5 England players in the match day team, didn't they? There was Sterling, Sturridge, Johnson, Henderson and Gerrard. And, of course, Uruguay had 2 Liverpool players in the squad, Suarez and Gerrard again. So...
Very busy man that day, wasn't he? Yeah.
It's interesting, because I'm finding out, now that England are out, I'm finding out about the backgrounds of all my friends. Because suddenly my friend the other day was suddenly, you know, well, actually, I'm half German, so I'll support Germany now. So you kept quiet about that on D-Day, didn't you?
How old are you? Didn't you, Gunter? Yes, well, I thought it was an unfortunate thing to bring up on the boat.
I've actually just started pretending I'm Costa Rican. I will switch to whatever I need to, you know. I'm in the cricket, I'm very Sri Lankan at the moment. During the Ashes, I pretended I was Aborigine. Like, I don't care. I will go wherever the results take me.
If I were Roy Hodgson now, I'd be a pundit, because... Like, he could be a pundit anywhere in the world. Apparently, he can speak 5 languages. Yes. Roy Hodgson, which is literally 5 more than Phil Neville. So...
Roy Hodgson always looks like a man who'd be far happier inside eating soup.
What did a lot of England fans find enormously irritating immediately after the matches?
Reality. It was England footballers doing adverts.
Yes.
Things like the Carlsberg Fan Squad advert.
Yes, there was a series of ads that people found there were complaints about, you know, Joe Hart and his dandruff, which, luckily, he's still beaten. Good man, Joe, well done. Why does that company, I'm going to give them the free ad, that company who does an anti-dandruff shampoo, which you all know, you say the word anti-dandruff shampoo, and Bing, why do they even spend money? Who goes, maybe I'll have a competing anti-dandruff shampoo for my shampoo? Well, there's one company who makes it.
Some of us, Dara, are still worrying about dandruff.
It's an unusual put-down, isn't it? Because on the one hand, zing, I'm bald. But yet, on the other, you don't come out of it like a prince, has to be said.
I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't think it through.
Take that, bald man. Oh, you social loser.
Yes, it has to be said that some of the England squad were probably not as well known as others. There was a young squad, a new squad. I mean, for example, there was this range of commemorative mugs that was brought out, and they were there on sale. And we're not making this up. And all the members of the squad, particularly Chris Smalling, the Manchester United defender,
who cannot believe they put Theo Walcott's picture on there.
It's mortifying, isn't it, actually? Yeah. That's Smalling, and for reference, a picture of...
I hope there's not a mix-up, and Chris Smalling's now going to have to be the President of the United States of America.
Well, what happens is, if he's going to get a phone call from David Cameron going, I finally got some service. I finally got coverage. What do we do about the Shia situation? I don't know. Anyway, in other news, what might we be sending out via smartphones next year?
Oh, this is a good one. This is smells. You can sell smells over your iPhone.
Yes.
It's brilliant, isn't it? If you fart in a meeting, you know, just blame your phone. You know, somebody sent me a farticon. I'll just turn that off, you know.
You're going to say it's going to be great when Obama finally picks up the phone and goes, Dave, I can smell pasta. You in Trago Mills?
We don't need it, do we? Like, it's this constant thing of, like, making things that nobody is... being on the phone to someone, I go, do you know what would make this so much easier to understand what you're on about? If I could smell you.
There is a good use for it. For instance, if you're seriously into collecting your cheeses, you don't actually keep them in your own house. You keep them at someone who owns a cheesery, and you say, you ring up and you say, "How's my camembert doing?" And he goes, "Well, I can let you know." And he goes and he records it, and he texts you, where, you think, well, that needs another 10 years, that sort of thing.
Do you genuinely phone up? Do you genuinely check on your cheese?
No, mate, I'm improvising.
I don't know how the other half live.
Back in that round, point with Josh, Anthony and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear in a school assembly.
It's your own time you're wasting, so please think twice about choosing media studies as an option.
We are not involved in extremism, and any suggestion we are is deeply offensive to us all here at the Jihadi Death to the West Academy.
Congratulations to the Year 7 football team who beat England.
There are 2 new girls in the school today, thanks to Louise in Year 9, who's just had twins.
New school rule, from next term there will be running in the corridors because we've had to sell off the gym.
Just this morning, we confiscated a bag of cannabis, and now we're asking all students to come forward if they've got Pringles.
Good news for last year's leavers. We have 4 at Durham, 4 at Edinburgh, 4 at Bristol, and you can't find a better selection of prisons than those.
And now for show and tell. And here is Miles with his cheese collection.
Congratulations to the first 11 who yesterday beat St Christopher's 37-0. St Christopher's is an intensive care unit, but nonetheless, well done.
Well, I'm really sad to be leaving you as your maths teacher. I've got no idea why I've been made redundant, because I've always felt that I've given 110%.
Just a note for 5D. When I said that Thomas should be in a blazer, I didn't mean set him on fire.
So, Ofsted inspection this morning, so burqa's off.
Now, I know today is no school uniform day, Barry, but we were hoping that you would wear something else.
And now the register is the reason that Mr. Smith cannot be here at the school today.
So if ever you feel the need to do drugs, have a word with the supply teacher.
OK, the next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
Come to Treagle Mills. We got peacocks and everything.
We've got surprises in store. The escalator's broken and the staff know fuck all.
Dignitas. It's not au revoir.
Have you had an accident that wasn't your fault and has ruined your life? Next time, use Durex.
Try uniform dating, because with the way government cuts are going, pretty soon it could be the quickest way to get a policeman to your house in an emergency.
If you can find it cheaper anywhere else, tell us and we'll burn their shop down.
The DFS sale has ended.
Buy little wine, because poor people shouldn't have to drink cider.
Steven Gerrard drinks Lucasade. This has been a Red Bull commercial.
News International. When you talk, we listen.
To qualify for second meerkat toy, Alexander has invaded Ukraine.
Milk. Try and forget it came out of a cow's tits.
Have you booked Joe Hart to advertise your product? Have you paid for advertising space until the end of the World Cup? Then you may be entitled to compensation.
At the end of the points go to Josh, Angela and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Angela Bryant and Joshua Whittaker. Commiserations to Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Miles Chuff. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Green. Good night. Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Zoe Lyons and Russell Kane, Ed Byrne, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what is going on here?
Worst stag do ever.
Is it the picture that Angela Merkel's going to send David Cameron for his Christmas card?
This is just a mark of how confident the German team were, because that is actually before the game.
Angela Merkel is actually in the starting 11.
It's nice to see a picture, though, of German men with one arm in the air that doesn't feel threatening, isn't it?
There was a lot of that when you watch the celebrations, though. People were like, hey, and you just like, oh, come on, just throw the other one up, Pete. Just throw the other one up.
Do you reckon Wayne Rooney looked at that picture and thought, why couldn't we have had a prostitute that age? That's right on history.
People accuse the Germans of arrogance, but this photo was, in fact, it was actually taken at the end of Neymar's hospital bed.
But I need someone to tell me what it is. We all know what it is.
You actually need someone to tell you.
Yes, because I have not seen any of these things. Who are these men and what is this event that they're attending? Please, I have recently landed in this country from foreign shores. And I'm unfamiliar with your traditions.
It's the German team in the dressing room having won the World Cup with Chancellor Merkel.
Absolutely, of course. Thank you very much, Hugh Dennis. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, of course. This is a picture of the victorious German football team celebrating their World Cup win in the dressing room with Chancellor Angela Merkel. Germany defeated Argentina in the final by a single goal from Mario Götze in extra time, becoming the first European team ever to win a World Cup in South America. Were you shouting for anyone or not for anyone? Or
most English people were shouting for Germany, which is a first, really, isn't it? Let's face it. But I guess compared to Argentina, you know, people found Germany preferable on the whole, because at least they don't keep asking us to give them France back, do they? So...
I mean, personally, I was at a Six Senses spa having a paraffin wrap, so I didn't catch it.
Zoe, were you watching it?
I did watch it. It's difficult as an England fan to watch Germany versus Argentina. You're just like, it's like typhoid or cholera. Which would you prefer?
Is it still a thing, though? Is it still?
I think it is still a thing because I was kind of back in Germany because we hate them less now. Yeah.
I thought it was... I didn't mind who won. I just, like... It was a good game, but I found it very difficult just watching as an England fan because it all gone so wrong for England. And I bet if you're watching in 4 years' time on Dave, we're still shit, aren't we?
I could never support the Argentinians, not after what Maradona did. Wembley 2003. He didn't sing Material Girl.
The one I love, the guy I love being there was Putin, because he was there because they're hosting the next one, isn't it?
Yes.
And every country that hosts it is desperate to win. And he must have been looking at that final thinking, the only way that Russia are going to win is if we invade Germany.
Putin sitting next to Blatter was the finest photograph in the history of democracy. How do you win your elections? Oh, I never run against anyone. Me neither. High five! High five!
The death of Brazilian football. That's what they'd witnessed.
Oh, yeah.
Not funny, but
that was
interesting.
Well, you say that. It was kind of funny. There was, because a few weeks ago I was talking about the head, you know, the way they were overemphasising the pretty women in the crowd type shots all the time. And I said, and I on the show called for more shots of children crying. Yeah. And then when they posted, there's that one of a small boy just blubbing his eye, and he's pushing his glasses out of his face, and he's got a Coca-Cola can, which is beautiful branding, absolutely spectacular branding, and he's weeping into it. And I got sent that image 4,000 or 5,000 times on Twitter in the minute after it was posted with the words "Happy now." Yes, I was. I went through it.
I think Brazil got humiliated, but did you see Joe Hart in that shampoo ad? No, obviously not.
There was headlines about Brazil going, England was finally we know shame. And you're going, you're aware what the rest of the world refers to when they say a Brazilian. You're aware your name was not always merely associated with beautiful football, but also pubic topiary.
That's probably the problem. Their formation's just too narrow. They have to play 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. And the goalie was the arsehole.
You know, in the semi-final, when Neymar was injured, they made him sit on the bench in full kit. Did you see that?
Yeah.
As a sort of talisman. And you think that is ridiculous. He's not allowed to play. Who would we do that with? You would have to do that with Bobby Charlton. That's the only thing we do.
We should do that, though. We should just have Frankie Boyle just sitting there. In a purple suit, just not saying anything.
Just angrily staring across at any use of women. As a non-sports fan, are you relieved it's over, though?
The main thing that was fascinating for me about British culture is the fact the viewing figures went up when it started to go horribly wrong for Brazil. That says everything about us as a culture, particularly our men, like people like my dad, whose humour... I mean, the last time my dad laughed was when he saw a Jaguar written off on the M11. That's the time... Look at the state of that. People in Britain, I go, I can't stand football. Brazil are losing. People are sobbing. Switch it on. Classic.
I wasn't impressed with Mr. Messi, though. It wasn't like the book at all.
Of course, Luis Suarez has gone to Barcelona now. 75 million. He apparently had a celebration meal with his mum in Uruguay. Well, I say he had a celebration meal. Apparently, he lost his balance and the meal hit him in the teeth.
And on the BBC, it also coincided with Alan Hansen's last game, didn't it? And nobody asked him the question I've always wanted to ask him about that scar and when he was attacked by Lord Voldemort.
I wonder if any old German war criminals gave themselves away watching that match, because there's a few of them in Argentina, isn't there? If they were watching it in their local pub and they just went, yes! Oh, no, sorry.
One campaign, by the way, that also slightly backfired is Singapore ran an anti-gambling campaign about a young kid called Andy, and it was about how Andy's dad had wasted their family's money because he was a gambler, and Singapore wants to stamp out gambling. But it wasn't quite as heart-rending as it could have been because of the scripting of the ad. This is the poster they had for it. I hope Germany wins. My dad bet all my savings on that. So the ad was basically...
Now you're going to two universities.
Hey, little Andy's going to Disneyland! Because gambling pays off. In other news, how has David Cameron been shaking things up this weekend?
He's shuffled around the cabinet. It's like the Tour de France. He's got rid of lots of the big names, hasn't he? They've all fallen over. But the one person who's still in the same job is Eric Pickles, which, according to the thing I read, is because he's very difficult to move.
They were thinking of giving him a sideways move, apparently. But then they decided it was easier to leave him where he was and move everybody else around him.
Yes, he wanted to update his cabinet described as male, pale and stale, which does sound a bit... It should be done like that. I mean, this cabinet is male, pale and stale. Fail.
I just want to know what Nick Clegg does on a day when they reshuffle the cabinet. If he just sits at home with his own cabinet going, oh, I'll put the rice near the spaghetti. Good job.
Well, in theory, it's supposed to show that he's being very pro-women. You know, it's very positive for women that he's added more women to the cabinet. But one of the women he added was a woman called Nicky Morgan, who previously was the Minister for Women, and now she's Education Secretary, but still Minister for Women. So that's how important the job of Minister for Women is. You can still do that and this other full-time job.
Apparently, the cabinet now is more Eurosceptic. But imagine thinking that Europe doesn't actually exist. I mean, I had a near Europe experience once when I was on holiday in Kent. I found myself walking along a tunnel towards the light. In the end, someone said, bonjour. That's so unfair, I thought I led a good life.
You're never quite sure which week Milton is actually mocking, are you?
At the end of that round, the points are going to Russell, Zoe and Andy. Now we play a round called Ich bin ein Berwinner. This game involves Zoe and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's the stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And the first topic is drinking. Who wants to come in on that? Zoe.
I like a drink. Realised I was probably drinking a bit too much recently when I turned to a friend not so long ago and, oh, that is a very nice breakfast wine. I like a bit of rosé. Who doesn't like a bit of rosé, or princess petrol, as I like to call it? Favourite wine, obviously, the box of wine. I enjoy a box of wine. People are snobby about boxes of wine in this country. I'm like, no, wine you can stack. It's brilliant. I love a box of wine because glass is so revealing, isn't it? It's transparent. It tells a tale, doesn't it? You can see how much you've had of a bottle of wine. But you can't see through my cardboard box of wine, can you? You have no idea how much of this 5-litre box of wine I have slowly but steadily been sipping my way through during the course of this shitty party. Sometimes I just stick a big straw in the top and pretend it's a massive Ribena. Giving, doesn't it? It keeps giving. You think it should be finished by now. You get to the end, you do all the classic things, you tip it on its side, you depress the little stopper. That's where an amateur will stop. They will discard the box of wine. But a connoisseur like myself, we know there's more. There's more lurking, isn't there? You rip open the cardboard head. You pull out the silvery intestines and you play what I like to refer to as the alcoholic bagpipe into your own glass.
So that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is communication. Where you go?
Is it just me, or the instructions to electrical goods these days far too complicated? I mean, I just don't know that many languages. Words are powerful things. Sometimes a single letter H can attract helicopters. Has to be a big one. Hours I spent watching that hot tap. Similes. What are they like? Of course, years ago in Wales, the letter T went on strike, and they had the Great Tea Strike of 1922, or as they had to call it, the Great E-Rike of 1922. Everyone had to get to work by ram. In the end, the strike was broken and the T's had to get together with random groups of consonants, and that is how the Welsh language was formed. Nuisance phone calls. Oh, they put the bills up. I can't even count to 10 in French, and to our 4-5 he said... Sorry, I've got a wheat allergy.
Well done. I think of that line. Points for Zoe. Come on, do that down again. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Russell, which category would you like?
Technology, please.
OK, technology. The answer is 4 years. What is the question?
Is that the amount of time it would take that Magaluf girl to orally pleasure every man on the planet?
Is it how long till Germany win the World Cup again?
Is it for how long have I been writing a sitcom now?
How's that going to go?
Oh, it's going to be my ticket off this show.
One Direction are rumoured to be splitting up. What is the average age of people who give a shit?
Is it the average response time of the snail ambulance?
Is it if Scotland become independent, what are they planning on reducing the legal drinking age to?
If you add it all up, how much of your life do you spend standing in a room going, what did I come in here for?
Is it, Dara, is it? How long have I wanted to tell you that I love you?
Back off!
Is it the actual number of years Mick Hucknall could hold back before he looked like a clown dipped in acid?
How long does it take the average person in Rotherham to eat 5 fruit and veg?
Potato is a veg. The correct answer is...
When are they going to try and build a spaceport in the UK?
It is absolutely right. Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. Well done. Yes, the question I was looking for was, how long will it be before the UK gets its very own spaceport? This is the news that Britain is to build a commercial spaceport which should be operational in 2018. It is almost ludicrously close, because by that means that you'll be able to actually take off and look down and see HS2 not being built. Are you excited? How exciting is this?
Oh, it's very exciting. I mean, Virgin Galactic, they're going to take off at the end of this year, apparently, in New Mexico. And Richard Branson says he's going to be on the first flight. Now, given his success with his ballooning, that is a very brave move, isn't it?
It's ludicrous to call it Virgin Galactic is what it's called, isn't it? But you know how they only go 62 miles up. That's it, don't they? They get to the outer edges of the atmosphere. And that isn't actually that exciting, is it? That's like saying at the beginning of Star Wars, a long time ago, in a galaxy as far away as London is from Portsmouth.
They're talking about putting it in Scotland, but like one of the places they were talking about putting it on an island in the Hebrides, Benbecula or somewhere like that. And they're going back going, oh, it's unlikely, though, because people won't want to go that far. to go into space. If you can't be arsed dragging yourself to the Hebrides, perhaps space isn't for you.
I wouldn't want to go on a Sunday because that, let's face it, that is a bloody long bus replacement service all the way to...
Isn't British space control, like air traffic control, isn't it going to be in Swindon? Isn't that where it is?
I have no idea where British space control
It goes, Swindon, we have a problem.
All
right, my lover.
Can't it be Swindon, we have a problem? Well, we're in Swindon.
I don't know how it works. So do you literally just go up and down? Do you go round a bit?
You go up and down. Just
you do. Literally up and down.
You're already spinning.
Not
with
even
us.
across a bit.
Wow, we really are so down on this. I'm genuinely surprised at the lack of one. No, sounds shit.
If there was somebody up there pretending to be an alien attacking the craft or something like that, that would make it more worth it.
So they should position somebody up there.
A high-level hot air balloon that just sprays it with silly string even to look like alien tentacles.
So you go to 60 miles where you see the curvature of the Earth and the stars above, but you don't think that's sufficiently exciting. You expect 6 minutes of weightlessness where somebody goes, oh no, now we're under attack. Wah, wah, wah.
Call me a dreamer.
The lamest bunch of people in the world.
Bunch of weirdos.
OK, different topic. What NHS operations might more people be eligible for soon?
You're going to be able to get gastric bypasses on the NHS. More fat people will be eligible for them, apparently. You're wondering whether they really need a gastric bypass or whether they need a Greggs bypass just to avoid the shop in the first place.
By the way, just to be... we don't say fat people. The term is jolly or... or, for those who are extreme case, morbidly jolly.
Apparently there's so many fat people now, right, is that people don't feel that they're fat because they're surrounded by lots of other fat people.
Yeah.
So the secret is, if you do want to lose some weight, right, is not actually to lose any weight if you're feeling fat. Just hang around other fat people, you'll feel much better about yourself.
I feel the same way. Sometimes when I feel I'm too funny, I come on this show. That sounded like I was slagging you off. It
did sound that way, and they rather enjoyed it.
Yes. No, the one I hate is when people say, all I've got to do is look at a cake and I put on weight. That's the worst line. I actually tested it. I kidnapped someone, I locked them in the room and I just showed cake at the window. 2 weeks later, dead and thin. What a lie.
They often talk about the obesity time bomb, don't they? The obesity time bomb. You just think, God, I really hope I'm not in the area when that goes off.
These days, people eat too much and they don't go out. Yes, the obese agoraphobic is very much the elephant in the room.
They produced a league table of the obese nations, the obesity league table. America was on top of the table. I think we were third. But you think an obesity league table, surely that was crying out for a pie chart.
Very amusing joke, but mathematically incorrect. OK. The end of that round, the point's going to Ed, Hugh and Milton. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear in court.
We, the jury, have yet to reach a final verdict, but we would like to have a guess. Is it Mrs. Peacock with a candlestick in the library?
The defendant is, as you can see, an evil man with a black heart, but nice, firm buttocks.
The Guildford 4 and the Birmingham 6 were miscarriages of justice. But S Club 7 must remain in prison.
If I'm guilty of anything, it's caring too much. And embezzlement. Embezzlement? Embezzlement and caring too much. That's all I'm going to be
It appears that we have a hung jury. Thank you, gentlemen. You can put your trousers back on now.
OK, Mr Pistorius, there will now be a toilet break. Don't anybody else go in there!
Before I pass down this sentence of death, how about a selfie? Oh, my God, your death face is so random.
You are accused of stealing top-of-the-range toilet rolls. How do you plead? Quilty or not quilty?
No, Mr. Coulson, we're not going to tell you your sentence. Instead, we've left a message for you on Hugh Grant's voicemail.
I am now going to pronounce sentence. Sentence.
Mr Clapton, I put it to you that it is highly unlikely that you did not shoot the deputy, given that you have already admitted that you did shoot the sheriff.
OK, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. Oh, alibi.
Well, it's been a long and complex trial, so before sentencing, let's have a look at some of your best bits.
Mr. Pistorius, the court rejects your defence that at the time of the crime you were legless.
And now, Mr. Harris, it is time for your sentence. Can you tell what it is yet?
You are accused of unnecessarily advertising a make-of smoothie. How do you plead? Be careful.
OK, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a nature documentary.
Watch out for Crocs, because anybody wearing Crocs is a bellend.
What's incredible about the emperor penguin is its ability to make you look like a shit father.
This is the most fantastic migration I've ever seen. These Romanians are moving in next door to Nigel Farage.
If you're in the jungle for a few months, use a leaf and some river moss from a bank. It really does feel like a lady.
Well, it took some pliers and an awful lot of gaffer tape, but I finally got this flamingo's legs on the right way around.
I have spent my whole life living with hyenas. It hasn't been easy, but there have been a lot of laughs as well.
The barbs that come off these tiny creatures can be very painful. This one just called me a talentless wanker.
The pack of meerkats surrounded the helpless lizard, and within seconds, he'd been forced to change his car insurance supplier.
The comics, or jesterlings, all jostle for position, eager to present their humour to the large alpha male.
A badger in its natural environment, on the hard shoulder being pecked at by crows.
This lioness has just had 4 cubs, but it's not as sweet as it looks. She's also had 3 brownies, 2 guides and a venture scout.
And this little fella, this little bird, his head can literally turn 300 and... Well, that's owls, isn't it?
And now the male attempts you-know-what by putting his thingamajig in the female's whatchamacallit.
And here I am in the shrubbery outside the BBC Centre, and I think I've spotted one. This is extremely rare. It's a female panellist.
Just one bite from this snake can paralyse the nervous system in 3 seconds.
You'll have to excuse the trembling excitement in my voice, as I'm currently being noshed off by Bill Oddie.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Russell, Zoe and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Ed Byrne, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Zoe Lyons and Russell Kane. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night. Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Susan Calman and Rob Beckett, Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Hal Cruttenden. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Susan, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
No problem at all. Politics is the category. The answer is 2. What is the question?
How many celebrities from the 1970s is it still OK for me to like?
A very provisional number, that. Investigation is still ongoing. Yes.
Is it what was the population in God's first census?
Is it the number of times Dolly Parton's face moved whilst she was...
Hey.
Are you loving the dolly, are you?
You can attack anything on this show, but you do not attack Dolly Parton. No. You're going to come into my house and attack Dolly Parton between the hours of 9 and 5.
Is it what most Glastonbury goers dread doing the most?
Is it the number of millibands it takes to ruin a party?
Is it which number most looks like a man kneeling to vomit in a lavatory?
Is it the number of tracks on a CD of the Cheeky Girls Best Of compilation?
Is it the number of footballers you can bite before you get really told off?
Is it if Jeremy Kyle and Jeremy Clarkson went into a room, how many people in that room would be pricks called Jeremy?
Surely this is Desmond Tutu's middle name.
Ed, move to the correct answer if you can, please.
Is it what's the highest number Ranulph Fiennes can count to? I wouldn't finish that one.
Is it the votes against Juncker?
Juncker works for me. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is essentially votes against Juncker. There you go. Yes, the question I was looking for was, how many European leaders voted against Jean-Claude Juncker for President of the European Commission? This is the news that at a summit in Brussels, David Cameron was only able to persuade one other European leader, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, to join him in voting against Juncker, with 26 voting for it. 26-2 defeat for Cameron.
26-2, nobody was impressed with that. The only person who was impressed with that was Roy Hodgson, who thought getting 2 was a great result against a tough European team.
We can't even get people to vote for us in Eurovision. How are we going to in actual politics?
What has been the reaction to Cameron among the European press?
They call him the Wayne Rooney of the election thing, which is...
And they didn't mean that in a good way. They didn't mean in a kind of a...
No, they meant it because Wayne Rooney is also very much in favour of decentralisation from Brussels.
Cameron's threat was that this will make it more likely that Britain will leave the EU. And there is a general ramping up, you can see, of anti-EU sentiment. Obviously, we saw it during the European elections. Only this week, the Daily Express ran this headline, this incredible... 150 new EU laws ruining Britain. You know, I mean, and you just go, oh, my God, what are these laws that are ruining Britain? And they put a little box of 8 of the ones they thought they were most likely to ruin Britain. I'm just going to read a couple of them now, and you can just go, oh, my God, the country's got a bet. It's ruined now. One of them was, it will be illegal to ship a live dog, cat or ferret without a health certificate signed by a vet. That strikes at the very heart, which is what Britain is for me. The people's ability to bring their ferret just on a whim. Do you know what? Fit, little skinny thing. I'm going to bring you to see Europe, OK? Stop, ow, stop right away. Another one that's ruining Britain, these laws will set out the difference between fruit juice from concentrate and concentrated fruit juice. Now, that makes perfect sense. Fruit juice from concentrated is the thing you can drink. Concentrated fruit juice is the bit you have to put water to turn it into fruit juice from concentrate, right? It is about time this country learned the difference, because I'm sick of accidentally pouring Ribena and then staring at it going, have I diluted this enough? Oh, somebody's going to taste this. I'm not going to taste this. This could be death in a cup. No. Meanwhile, by the way, which Conservative campaign backfired this weekend?
This was getting Eric Pickles to wear lycra.
This was the campaign to try and see how many working-class Tory MPs they could find. Yes. And they could only find 14 out of 300 that they thought could be considered working class, which was slightly more than the Labour Party could manage.
I'm working class and I'm a Tory. I'm Taurus. Taurus. Sorry.
The problem is that for most Tories, I think hardship is going to Durham University. That's like the worst thing that could happen.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter, you know, if they're working class background or not, if what the policies are. I don't care if somebody goes, we don't give a shit about the NHS. You know, I don't think, oh, well, you're working class, so...
You mean Dick Van Dyke
so much better. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a cheery song about privatising.
We're shutting you all down!
Shimmy.
You know what I mean?
Let's not get involved in doing each other's accents, Romesh. Yeah. Because that's going to look like a lot worse for me.
But that's the thing, you know, it'd be like, you know, constantly rebrand the Tories as, like, a working-class party. It would be like me doing that, just coming on and playing the immigrant vote, going, oh, hello, Dad, I'm so glad you're Thank you so much for having me on, I'm very grateful. You can't suddenly stop pulling that out.
I don't know why you can't be doing that. Don't rock the boat, right?
But then I could do you, not literally, Rob. Don't get excited. Barking up the wrong tree, sweetie.
Among your many gifts, an ear for accent.
Darling! Why is it so slow? It's like I'm coming round from an operation.
Oh, Mum, where's the milk? I'm extra large! Wouldn't it be better? I've got to get up that chimney!
To me, Rob, that is exactly what you sound like.
Is this you trying to make sure the
bit of tension on my team?
To be honest, I hesitate to call it a team. And,
about the point? What about the point?
Can we please get back to the Tories? I think rather than
Well, there was this Tory MP, David Amess, who has apparently been doing all of the research into Tory working class MPs. He said he was working class because he didn't have a telephone when he was growing up. He had to lean out the window and shout very loudly. And I still have to do that in my home. That's just due to the level of reception that I get from O2.
I didn't know, like, I'm banging on about being working class, but I didn't know Radio 4 existed until I was asked to be on it. I thought... No, because I thought it was one of them new ones, like One Extra or the Asian Network or something like that, you know, when they brought on the digital one.
Do you know what's happening here, though? I didn't mean to be rude. You sound really lovely. It's almost... we're like opposites. It's like, you know, attract. We could end up together.
This could be like Katie Price and Peter Andre on the jungle thing.
Maybe a spin-off on BBC Three of how this relationship is going. In other news, under proposed health guidelines, what could we see banished from our diets?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah. Sugar's very, very bad for you. And there's a lot of sugar in fizzy drinks.
Your daily requirement of sugar is in one single can of Coke. This was released, figures released by the Department of... You already know this. Who is the Minister of... Come on, do we have to keep telling you this stuff? Just put it down.
It is a fruit juice problem, isn't it? Because fruit juice apparently contains as much sugar as fizzy drink. So, in which case, the man from Del Monte, he'd say, oh, shit.
I'm just thinking that I always knew OJ was a killer. Thank you.
I'm just going to stop my stopwatch on that at 14 years.
Look, what I love about that is how you could put that straight on Dave. The problem with just drinking water is it just tastes like your mouth, doesn't it? I don't want to taste my mouth.
They want to ban fizzy drink. I don't know how they're going to come into my house and stop me doing it, but I think if they ban it and make me drink water, then the opposite should apply. And when I go swimming, I should be allowed to swim in, like, Fanta.
The thing is that they give you all these warnings, but, like, I can't, you know, I just ignore it because the warnings aren't strong enough. Like, I can't stop smoking, for example. You know, like, they tell you all these bad things, like heart disease, lung disease, I can't stop. Like, they could tell me, like, they were going to take my children away if I didn't stop smoking. I would, like, cut down to 10.
But 20% of kids, they reckon now, are obese by the time they leave junior school aged 11. So somebody needs to tell them that big school is just a name. It's not a description they have to live up to.
It's the language they use. It's a paper thing, isn't it? Because the headline that I saw said that the government have declared war on sugar. It's not really a war, is it? Nobody's gone. Well, this morning we wrote to Tate and Lyle. No response has been forthcoming. I'm afraid to tell you from this moment, we are at war with sugar. There is no war.
We're always using this term, war on drugs. We've had, war on sugar, war on drugs. And actually, you look at those two things, that's two opposite things. Sugar makes kids fat, drugs make kids thin. Maybe there's some middle ground. In a family situation, smack can be a punishment and a reward.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan and Andy. Now we play a round called Gag of Thrones. This game involves Rob and Hal, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First topic is holidays. Who wants to come in that?
Okay. Rob. I love an holiday. I'm terrible at the languages, though, when I go away. Do you know what I mean? I still say jalapeno. I know it's jalapeno, but I don't speak English properly. I don't want to start having a go at Mexican. Do you know what I mean? I used to like getting on the plane. The plane's fine. I still love the little symbol that says no smoking. I was like, why have they still got that there? When was the last time we saw someone trying to smoke on a plane? They might as well have no barbecues up there. I've never seen anyone on a plane like... Sorry, sir, no smoking. Since when? I get worried on a plane with a little ashtray. I think, how old's this plane? I went to Barcelona recently with the in-laws and my girlfriend. They're a bit posh and stuff. They go out for dinner and I've got a bit of a basic palate. They're all eating that weird food. They went, oh, Rob, do you want some cured meats? I was like, depends what was wrong with it in the first place. I don't do paella either. It's just busy rice, isn't it? It's a special fried rice that's got well out of hand. The thing is, well, in Barcelona, what's weird is they try and sell you drugs late at night. Well, it's really wild, because I was walking along and I was a bit hungry, so I hadn't eaten any dinner, and this bloke come up, he was like, Coke, weed, pills? I was like, no, thanks, mate. I'm after a bit of KFC. Right? He goes, KFC? I've got a bit of that. I was like, no, you haven't, mate. Not unless you've got a deep fat fry in your bum bag. As I go to walk off, I whips out a little plastic bag of powdery stuff like, here it is, KFC. I'm like, yeah, of course it is, mate. And I walk off. 10 minutes later, I think to myself, what if that was a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices?
Thank you very much, Rob. OK, that'll leave us with Hal. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel again. And the subject is marriage. Wait.
Right. I have been married 14 years. I know, I look too young. People say silly things when you've been married a certain amount of time. If you say, oh, you've been married 14 years, people say things like, oh, you get less for murder. You don't. I've checked. Why do people compare marriage to prison as well? There's far more sex in prison, isn't there? I am joking, obviously. My wife is absolutely my best friend. My best friend in the world, she is. Oh, obviously, I'm not her best friend. No, Lisa's her best friend. But we've got 2 children as well, 2 girls, thank God, because I'd be rubbish with boys. Wouldn't I? I'd be right. Imagine a little boy coming home from school saying, Daddy, Billy Smith says I've got to bring £2 to school every day, or else I'm going to get a kicking. I'm like, look, calm down. Ask Billy if we can set up some sort of direct debit, whatever's easiest for him. But my daughters worry about me. I know that's wrong. My oldest daughter, she came up to me when she was about 8, she did this, and this is absolutely true, came up to me very seriously and said, Daddy, are you gay? My mum was always convinced I was gay. I was to bring my wife and kids over to dinner. My mum would be going, oh, still living in denial. Shut up, Mum. When I was 16, I brought my first proper girlfriend home, and I said to my mum, can she stay over in my room? My mum was like... OK. But don't stay up all night talking about boys.
OK, very good. Point to Hal there. Well done. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Come and sit down.
Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
Is it from the Uruguayan Daily News? Shoulder-wielding thug hurts our hero's precious tooth enamel.
Is it 3 men trying to make up the French flag and having a massive argument about it?
Is it the goalkeeper, the bloke in red, going, I have an itch, just there. There, just on the back of my knee, there. Just there, let's go.
Is it Suarez imagines a half-time orange?
Is it England's opponent plays sitting down to give England a chance?
And you know it actually is.
Is it the Luis Suarez bite?
Of course it is, absolutely. Thank you very much, Rob Beckett. Yes, of course, it's Luis Suarez, who has been banned from all football-related activity for 4 months after FIFA found him guilty of biting Italian opponent Giorgio Chiellini. That's all. That's collecting stickers. That's doing keepy-uppy. If he goes online to play FIFA, it'll go no. And it'll stop him. Nothing. Nothing.
He gets out of the team photo, he gets out of training. So basically, if you bite people, you get out of doing stuff. So if I bit my mother-in-law, can I get out of that christening on Sunday?
I imagine so. Yeah. So his argument in his defence was, I lost my balance, falling on top of my opponent, hitting my face against him. It was at that point in which my penis entered the vacuum cleaner. Why I'm in
yours as well.
in this accident and emergency room.
I thought it was quite erotic because it was like, And, I mean, for me, when I've bitten people in the past...
Yes.
I would bite my initials into the back of the person that I was... What's wrong with that? It just sort of... Just S.
What are you, Zorro?
No, but you would just... As they were sleeping,
You'd
just
mark
gently...
them. Mark gently. Know your initials into them.
How heavily sedated were these partners of yours?
I'm just a little cockney, getting bit on the back.
All I'm saying is that actually, not since Top Gun have I seen such a homoerotic scene.
It was
as
quite...
Suarez
no, I'll give you that. Because he came from nowhere and then came in and he didn't quite nuzzle the man, it has to be said.
He's doing nothing for people with big teeth, is he?
I think you've got lovely teeth.
You have
though.
lovely teeth.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But when you was at school and you had big teeth, people were like, oh, you're going to bite me. But now, yeah.
Loads of people actually gathered outside his house, didn't they? Loads of fans gathered outside his house. Because apparently it's very easy to spot his house, because there's a sign on the gate which says, the dog is the least of your worries.
If he's not allowed to take part in any football-related activity, he could actually just come and play for England, couldn't he?
Did you see that the Uruguayan head of state, he came out, didn't he, in support of Suarez?
Embarrassing, yeah.
What did he say? He said FIFA are a bunch of old bastards. That's interesting for a head of state, isn't it? You wouldn't expect the Queen to come out and go, well, Sepp Blatter, what a tosser he is.
He looked over from the balcony going, wanker!
What sort of reception did the England players get on their return?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
One man and a dog turned up.
The crowds turned out. This is at the airport where the England players...
It's not that surprising that nobody showed up. The England team spent almost as long in baggage reclaim as they did in the group stages.
She's not even a fan, that one. She's the official that looks for illegally shipped ferrets.
I got quoted in The Sun during the week because I tweeted midway through, I think it was South Korea's last group game, because I was just sick of every time we just cut to another unfeasibly glamorous people who've clearly been put in by FIFA to create this image of, yeah, come to FIFA World Cup events. It's where fun people hang out, rather than what football matches probably are, which is fat blokes from Newcastle stripped to their waist in December going, oh! And the amount of people who got really angry at me for taking our women away.
So basically, you irritated loads of people last week, and now you're mentioning it again so as you can irritate them one more time.
It was quite funny to watch it get angry about.
What annoys me is when it's like a penalty shootout and then they focus in on the crowd and they're all worried. Oh, my God, we can go to the World Cup. And then go, big screen! Yeah. It's an amazing clip of the linesman. Have you seen that?
No.
It's on the internet where the linesman, he's on the big screen, he's got his hat kind of like that, and then you see him just look like that, and he goes...
The thing is, it just adds a pressure that you... I don't know how everyone else watches the football, but I enjoy the football immensely, and especially when, you know, all day, and you just make yourself comfortable, so it's pants and vest, it's a die-hard outfit, and you dress like John McClane. You've got several tubs of Pringles, so you can alternate between them, because I can fit my whole fist in a Pringles. And... so you're there, you've got crisps on you, the cat's licking it off your face, and you're just lying. And then on the screen there's this beautiful Brazilian woman like, ooh, and you're like, fuck you, just fuck you.
I agree. I entirely agree. It creates a phone super, and also one of the joys of watching sport, all sport, is half that room are really unhappy. I want to see the unhappy one. Show me the child whose face got painted, now crying it off. I want to watch in sport, not like, hey, we're so beautiful. Tune in, right? And you're the tearful scouts. That's football. The FIFA where they're like, oh, junk, 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 junk. No, that's not football. That's not sport at all. At the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan, and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way to the performance area, please. I read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. The first subject tonight is things a sports commentator would never say.
Apologies, the sport you're watching is apparently squash, and not, as I said earlier, tennis in prison.
Oh, I am sorry. You don't need a lip reader to see what he said after that challenge. He said, fuck off.
180! This man is rubbish at golf.
Meow! 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 He's clearly hurt his knee.
Italy have had 3 shots in the second half: tetanus, rabies and hepatitis.
And here come the Coxers 4, so the women's tennis doubles can begin.
And as we wait for the final of the butterfly, it's hard to believe that just yesterday all these competitors were still caterpillars.
And there's a new event here at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Yes, get ready for shouting at your own reflection in a shop window.
Wow, unbelievable service. 3 full bars on T-Mobile.
And there's been a nasty clash in the Nigeria-Brazil game. Lime green with yellow.
For those of you who want to watch the equestrian events, get your butler to press the red button now.
Welcome to the Nazi Pro-Am golf tournament. Hitler, as usual, is in the bunker.
Wayne Rooney has managed the full 90. Previously, his eldest was 76.
And the Queen takes the bishop. This is turning out to be quite the royal wedding.
And Suarez is being substituted. He's not injured, he's just full.
What an incredible backhand there from the Qatari president.
All right, the next subject is unlikely lines from a thriller.
We meet at last, Mr. Bond. I'm from the Child Support Agency.
I will look for you. I will find you. And when I do, you count to 10 and try and find me.
The story about the man that was killed getting a blowjob. Die Hard.
I have your wife. And unless you give me $15 million, I will give her back to you.
Someone in here is the killer. Is it John? Is it Sally? Or is it that massive bear?
Yeah, it's definitely semen.
OK, let me talk to the Navy SEALs.
Oink, oink.
They were strangers on a train, and they remained that way because they were British.
The cause of death is unknown, but his last words were, "Parachutes are for pussy!"
There's a mole in our organisation. Toad, Ratty, Badger. Any idea who it might be?
You are too late. Too late. Look at the timer. In 15 seconds, My ready meal will be ready.
Say hello to my little friend, Alan. Hello.
The truth! You can't handle the truth! So thank you for signing up to the Mail Online websites.
And that was the horrible moment that the comedian realised it wasn't a good thing to look like an Asian Rolf Harris.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan and Andy! That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Susan Calvin and Rob Beckett. Commiserations to Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Hal Crittenden. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.